More than 3,000 years ago, a city stood proud on the coast of Asia Minor. Its walls were said to touch the sky, its warriors unmatched in courage, its treasures envied by kings. This city was Troy. And its fall, born of love and betrayal, of war and deception, would echo across time, becoming one of the greatest legends in human history. This is the story of the Trojan War, a tale where gods and mortals clashed, where love sparked destruction, and where a wooden horse decided the fate of a kingdom. The story begins not with soldiers, but with a quarrel among the gods. At a wedding feast on Mount Olympus, the goddess of discord, Eris, threw a golden apple upon the table. On it was inscribed, "To the fairest." 3 goddesses claimed it: Hera, queen of the gods; Athena, goddess of wisdom; and Aphrodite, goddess of love. To decide who deserved it, they turned to Paris, prince of Troy. Each goddess offered him a gift. Hera promised power, Athena promised wisdom, Aphrodite promised the love of the most beautiful woman in the world. Paris chose love, he chose Aphrodite. And with her gift came Helen of Sparta, wife of King Menelaus. When Paris carried Helen away to Troy, the Greeks swore vengeance. An army of kings and heroes sailed across the sea, and the greatest war of the ancient world began. For 10 long years the Greeks laid siege to Troy. Among them was Achilles, the greatest warrior of his age. Swift-footed, fearless, his spear was death itself. Against him stood Hector, prince of Troy, noble and brave. Hector fought not for glory but for his family, his people, his city. Their duel became the heart of the war. When Hector fell beneath Achilles' spear, the fate of Troy grew darker. But Achilles too would not live long. An arrow, guided by the god Apollo, struck his only weakness, his heel, and the mightiest of the Greeks fell to the dust. 10 years of battle brought no victory. The walls of Troy stood unbroken. The Greeks grew weary, but cunning replaced strength. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, devised a plan of deception. A giant wooden horse was built, hollow within and filled with Greek warriors. The rest of the army pretended to sail away, leaving the horse as a gift. The Trojans found it at their gates. Some warned it was a trick, but others saw it as a symbol of victory. The horse was dragged into the city, and that night Troy celebrated its triumph. But as the city slept, the hidden warriors crept from the horse. They opened the gates, and the Greek army, returned under cover of darkness, flooded inside. Troy burned. Temples crumbled, men were slain, women enslaved, children scattered. The once mighty city was no more. The fall of Troy was not just the end of a city, it was the beginning of countless stories. Helen returned to Sparta with Menelaus. Odysseus began his long, perilous journey home, a tale told in the Odyssey. Aeneas, a Trojan prince, fled the burning city, carrying his father on his back. His journey, the Romans later claimed, led to the founding of Rome itself. From the ashes of Troy, new legends were born, and the echoes of its fall reshaped the world. For centuries, the Trojan War was thought to be only a myth, a story sung by Homer in the Iliad, a tale of gods and heroes too grand to be real. But in the 19th century, archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann unearthed the ruins of a great city at Hisarlik in modern-day Turkey. Layers of walls, treasures, and destruction suggested that perhaps, behind the myth, there was truth. Maybe there was a city called Troy. Maybe there was a war, perhaps not of gods and golden apples, but of kings and power, trade and pride. Myth and history intertwined make the story of Troy eternal. The fall of Troy has never been forgotten. It has inspired poets, artists, musicians, and filmmakers. From Homer's verses to Hollywood screens, the story is retold again and again. Why? Because Troy is not just about a city, it is about us. It is about love that defies reason, about pride that blinds nations, about bravery, tragedy, and the cost of war. It reminds us that even the mightiest walls cannot withstand betrayal. That victory can be born not from strength, but from cunning. And that from destruction, new beginnings rise. The story of Troy is both history and myth, a city that may have stood, a war that may have raged, a fall that still shakes the human soul. From a golden apple to a wooden horse, from gods to mortals, from love to ruin, the tale endures. And perhaps that is the greatest truth of all, that stories like Troy itself never truly die. They live on in our hearts, in our imaginations, in the timeless song of humanity. Troy may have fallen, but the legend will stand forever.